should be like you, Mel.
Ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Cherry Slaps, and this show we will be looking back at this weekend's cup tie on the brain. Obviously, FA Cup ties have just been drawn for the third round, which we'll touch on a little bit of reaction to that very shortly. But of course, the main idea of this show is to look back at the draw against Chelsea on Saturday, and to do that, I've got two guests with me. One, that it wouldn't be Cherry Slaps without our friend from Berlin, and that's Malcolm Chiverton. Malcolm, good evening and welcome back to Slaps as always. How are you doing?
Yeah, good evening, Matt. Hi, Chidge. Yeah, all good here, mate. All good.
Excellent. And of course, we've got from the Chelsea FanCast, we've got Stanford Chidge. How are you doing?
Well done, Matt. Almost got it spot on.
Almost.
Yeah, so it's good to see you both. I mean, as we said off air, you've been on our show lots, so it's lovely to see you again. So thank you for the invite. Yeah,
no, and thank you very much for joining us. Guys, if we could just firstly touch on the FA Cup, we'll get the thoughts from the Chelsea perspective on their draw. But firstly, let's start off with ourselves. And we have the long journey up to St. James's Park to face Eddie Howe's Newcastle United in the third round of the FA Cup. Malcolm, what's your initial thoughts on that cup tie?
Wow. It would have been nice to have Barnsley at home, I think, but, you know, it's not a free choice, is it? Anything can happen. You know, Newcastle being in Champions League as well, and with their form is a little bit up and down. Who knows on the day? Let's go for it.
Yeah. It's for a nostalgia point of view, it's going to be great to obviously come up against Eddie yet again, but and this time in the FA Cup. But you know, I'm a bit of a old FA Cup romantic. You know, I like the big boys playing the minnows, but like you say, you know, we can't pick or choose, but that's the draw we've got. From Chelsea's perspective, a trip to Charlton, then not too far down the road.
We're off to the Valley, Matt. I was going to say, by the way, I'll guarantee you that your match against Newcastle will be like 8 o'clock on a Sunday or 8 o'clock on a Monday.
Yeah, probably.
Won't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I feel your pain with that. It always happens to us too. Anyway, let's hope not for your sake. But yeah, we've got a London derby, one we haven't had. We haven't played Charlton for a while, obviously, since they dropped down the divisions. It's a funny old. I remember we played Charlton. I think it was in the 70s or the late 80s, and it was so cold, and the football was so rubbish that a lot of Chelsea supporters started making bonfires on the terraces, which is the most entertaining thing that happened all day. I don't see a repeat of that for some reason, but yeah, it'll be fun. I mean, Yeah, it'd be fun. I haven't been there for ages, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Potential banana skin, do you think? Potentially for you guys or not?
Any match is a potential banana skin for us, Matt. You know, like Jekyll and Hyde FC, we are.
Yeah, we'll come on to a little bit about Chelsea's recent form very, very shortly. But let's have a look back at the lineups. And let's start with Chelsea. Why not? Let's start with you guys first. What did you make of the lineup on Saturday to face Bournemouth? Obviously, you had Cole Palmer back, which I think was the first time since September that he made a start for you guys. So, which obviously must have been a major positive for you. But all in all, what did you make of the lineup?
Well, I mean, like you, we do a show, and on the Friday night, I predicted exactly that lineup.
Wow.
Apart from one difference, I had Pedro starting as the number 9, not Delap. And of course, if Maresca had bothered to listen to me in the show, which he should do, then Delap would not be out for 2 months with a shoulder injury now, would he? Because he'd have been on the bench. But
Fair point.
Not being silly for a second. It's exactly the lineup I pretty much thought we would do, and therefore I should have no complaints because it's the team I would have selected, and it's the team that I would have hoped to have actually bothered to turn up rather than spending the afternoon in King's Road, I think, in some pub somewhere. So there you go.
Yeah, Malcolm, the Cherries lineup. Obviously, we've had a few suspensions, a few injuries. Obviously, Marcus Senesi ended up in the back four yet again, which I think we predicted. But it was the difficulty with Lewis Cook being suspended, Christie being injured, Tyler Adams being suspended, which sort of made that midfield area a little bit light. But what did you make all in all? Because for me, I was quite impressed to see Jimenez push further up the field.
Yeah, just to hit on Chelsea first of all. Once the lineups came out, I thought, well, that's a pretty strong starting 11.
Agreed.
Going on to their previous starting 11 and the previous matches, I can't remember how many of them I've seen, but quite a few. But okay, Chelsea have got the squad anyway, haven't they? But on paper, you thought, wow, it's going to be a real tough cookie for us.
Malcolm, apart from not having Caicedo, that's probably our strongest lineup.
Yeah.
And maybe Pedro is 9, although his form's been shocking recently. But it's a good case to be said that that's the strongest lineup of those that we've got fit at the moment. Yeah.
Fully agree with you. Caicedo obviously, got red carded, didn't he?
Yeah. Against Arsenal.
So, yeah, he makes everything tick. So perhaps that was a bit of an advantage for us, bearing in mind what were we going to do in the midfield? How would we set up? Because, only having Scott there, who do you put with him? It was a tricky call, but you hit on Jimenez moving up the pitch. I thought it was a really wise move from Andoni. A bit brave, bearing in mind he's never played there for us, so we just had to put bodies in there, really.
Yeah.
And see how it works. But yeah, all in all, not bad. I was a little bit surprised Krupi didn't start. But good that Ever is up there. I mean, he works his socks off, and a bit unfortunate again this against Chelsea. But no complaints at all.
No.
The starting lineups, I thought, all right, bring it on. Bearing in mind, we went on the back of the Everton game, which was for us really, really awful. It was a diabolical performance. In fact, it wasn't a performance at all. So we needed to show a reaction, and it turned out that way. They actually got back to playing the way we like to see them play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was definitely more like an Andoni side on Saturday against Chelsea than it was against Everton, wasn't it? Definitely. Just very quickly, sorry guys, just jump into the chat, say hello to a few people that tune in. Of course, Chris Hubble, normally first in the chat. Good evening, Chris. Hope you're well. And yes, away at Newcastle in the FA Cup third round. Paul from Oz, Hi, Matt, Malcolm, and welcome to your guest, Paul from Oz. Hope you're well, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Jamie, evening all. Happy to get Newcastle away in the cup. Means I can have a weekend up there twice in a few months. Well, I don't think all of us will be saying that, but yeah.
I was gonna say, Matt, it'll take all weekend to get up there and back, won't it?
Yeah, it certainly will. We played a lot better Saturday against Chelsea. Played like that, a win won't be too far away. Yeah, couldn't agree more with you there, Jamie. Any update news on Marcus Senesi injury? I haven't seen much on it, but there is a potential few things flying around saying that he may possibly be out. But until it's confirmed, I have no idea on that one. Who's confident we will get something at Man United next Monday? Well, that'll be discussed on the Bean Court Social later on in the week, Jamie. So do tune into that one. Evening, Ethan. Hope you're well.
Hi, Ethan.
And evening to you, Liam, as well. Thank you to everybody for joining us tonight. Guys, a little form then. It was quite an important game, I think, for both sides. Now, for us, it was the last 6 where we hadn't picked up a win. I think for Chelsea, was it the last 3 for you before this one?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a bit of a downturn in foot. I mean, I think the thing for us is that this comes on the back of a great win against Barcelona, a great fighting spirit draw against Arsenal with 10 men, and then we got absolutely humped away to Leeds. I mean, it was an awful performance. They just didn't, everybody knew, apart from the manager, it seems, that Leeds would absolutely go for it. They hate us. This is a lot of people. I don't know. It'd be interesting to talk to you two boys about it, actually, because a lot of people don't understand why it's a rivalry. They just don't.
God.
Yeah, I mean, Malcolm would. Malcolm looks the kind of similar vintage to me, so he will understand. Yeah. But it goes way back to the 60s and the 70s. So, we all knew that Leeds would come out of the blocks and be right at us. The crowd would be on their back from the first minute, and that's exactly what they did. And we just rolled over and let them tickle our tummy, and very disappointing. So we were going into the Bournemouth game, knowing you're a decent side, knowing that you've also had a poor run of form recently. And we were thinking, well, we know that Bournemouth, they like to play a high press. They like to be aggressive and intense. So they need to be bang up for it from the first minute, and they need to show something off the back of that. And guess what happened? Nothing. I don't think we turned. I mean, we should have been 1-0 down after 4 minutes, arguably, shouldn't we?
Yeah. No, in fairness, I mean, obviously it was an offside goal, that one, wasn't it? In the early,
definitely offside, Matt, because I was right in line.
Yes,
right in line. It was.
I
was
that end as well behind the goal, and I can't disagree with you on that one. It was offside. But let's touch on the first half. Now, I had to rewatch the game. I know you do as well, Malcolm. You tend to watch the game a couple of times, don't you, before we do a slaps? And I made a few notes. And first half for me, I don't know whether you two agree with me, but I think Bournemouth were probably the better side in the first half. My personal view is that we were. Semenyo, again, obviously the goal that was offside. That was Evan Nilsson that was in the offside position, if I remember rightly. Yeah. But he forced on range save as well from Sanchez, didn't he? And Evan Nilsson probably should have been a bit more lucky with the rebound not the rebound, the save from the keeper. But I mean, let's start with yourself, Malcolm. The Cherries. How would you sum up that first half from the Bournemouth perspective?
I'd say very positive. We from the get-go, they wanted to get at them. It was a question of, can we break Chelsea down? Take my hat off to Sanchez. He had a really super game in goal.
Yeah.
Defensively, they weren't bad at all. Who was it? Fofana at the back. Had a decent game as well. I mean, obviously they've got quality. Chelsea aren't in, the top 5 for no reason, and I know they can drop off quite easily as they did in the week, but they can also bounce back. They got the quality there to do it. But I was impressed by the way we actually went at them and kept probing, kept trying. We limited Chelsea, to be honest with you, from our penalty area. A couple of crosses came in, a few bits and pieces, but nothing spectacular. I know it's quite an even first half anyway, and I think 0-0 at half time was really about right. I'm not sure of the possession stats for the first half, but maybe Chelsea edged it. But shots wise, it did appear more that Bournemouth had more attempts at goal in the first half. But it was quite open, quite end to end. And seeing the way Bournemouth played compared to Tuesday, it gives you as a fan, it gives you a lot of confidence to see that and what the potential is there. I was always a little bit concerned when Chelsea went forward, with the quality players they got. I mean, I don't know what Chidge's idea is about Delap. I mean, I personally think he's a little bit overrated. He does like to put himself about, which he used to do at Ipswich anyway, didn't he? So in the end, he got what was coming to him, when Senesi decided to land on top of him. So, but, Palmer, yeah, very rusty, I'm afraid. You can tell he was out for a long while. Was expecting things to happen with him, but okay, not a bad performance really. First game back. Yeah, I think that's about how I'm going to assess the first hour. Quite open. Fair 0-0 at half time, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting thing, Malcolm, isn't it? I mean, Delap's an interesting question because I thought he was superb at Ipswich last season. I mean, he scored a very naughty goal against us. In other words, he dived to get a penalty. But if he's on your side, you go, yeah, smart boy. Somebody very annoyingly put up on Twitter the goal he scored against you last season, and I thought,
oh yeah.
That is not Rory Delap. That must be somebody else, because I've not seen anything like that since he's turned up to us. But the trouble is he's playing for a much bigger club, and then he got that hamstring injury against Fulham at home, so he's been out injured. He's come back in. He got sent off in his first game back. And so he's just not really been able to settle into the side. He looked good in the World Club Cup in the summer, but he's not really settled into the side at all. And it's really sad because Chelsea supporters are desperate to see a proper number 9 at the club. Because I'm fed up with all this sideways, backwards passing, tick-attack and nonsense. False number 9 to a 4'3". It's not football. I hear what you're saying. He does put himself up about a bit, but frankly, I think what is rather sad there is he tries to bully opposition defenders and gets bullied himself. So maybe he should focus on actually just trying to, shoot and pass and whatever. But I want to be patient with him because I'm desperate to see it work for him. But I just think this season is going to be a nightmare for him. He's another 2 months out now. So he's going to come back, end of January, beginning of February, and it's going to be really tough. What was the
injury?
Huh?
What was the injury?
He's dislocated his shoulder when Senesi fell on him.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, they were having a, to and fro in the penalty area, weren't they? So, it's 6 of one, half a dozen the other, and he's come off worse,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I actually had a question about Delap for you, actually. I'll rephrase it, but do you think he might be cursed by having that number 9 shirt?
Matt,
when you look back at Chelsea's number 9, there seems to be a bit of a curse, doesn't there, with that shirt number?
What are you talking about? Steve Sidwell was a legend as the number 9 for Chelsea, and not to mention Khalid Boularus. Do you know what? We get this all the time. And I think it's a load of nonsense. I really, really do. I mean, I could ping you off a list of number 9s we've had who have been absolutely fantastic, and some of them were even played for us this century. You know, so yeah. I mean, we've had some duff ones, and we've had some absolutely brilliant ones. You know, so I think it's a load of old nonsense. I tell you what, though, on a wider kind of more footballing point, you know, I wrote a piece about this in our fanzine the other month, but I think all this kind of Pep Guardiola football is destroying, you know, what we would all see as traditional number 9s. I just don't. I think they're being squeezed out of the game, which is why I think we need to be really patient with Delap and not just write him off as a duff buy. You know, he needs to be nurtured, because I think there's a player in there and there's a proper number 9 in there. And if you're a football supporter, there is nothing you like more in this world than seeing some hairy-ass centre-forward bullying a load of defenders and absolutely slamming it in the back of the net from 20 yards, right? Or getting on the end of a pinpoint cross from the byline and thundering ahead past the keeper, right? Give me that any day than a 75 pass move that's gone all around the pitch and they tap it in from a yard. Because I've probably fallen asleep halfway through that, you know. Yeah. So he needs to be nurtured, and we need to be patient with him.
Yeah. Yeah, just pop into the chat very quickly. I totally agree with what you're saying there. And I think, you know, hopefully, you know, and for his career, hopefully Liam Delap does get himself fit again and have a good run for Chelsea, because you know, he is a great player, and he proved it.
Well, we don't know if he's a great player yet, Matt. I mean, that time will tell. But I think writing him off now would be a real mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought he was fantastic at Ipswich, but yeah, like you say, it is different pressures to put on, and no disrespect to Ipswich, pulling on a Chelsea shirt to an Ipswich shirt. And I think someone like Kirkes at Liverpool has found that kind of out this season. The pressures are pulling on the Liverpool shirt. So, but here's one for you. Flashback on the past. Peter Osgood. Yes. I never got to see him, so. That's one for you two down memory lane there.
He was good.
Bobby tumbling.
Yeah, just quickly jump.
Bobby, yeah.
Very sorry, guys. What's the story with Cole Palmer? He was not at it. Yeah. I know he was injured, but did not look good. Is that a case that he just needs a few games under his belt? Because we know he's a world-class talent. He's in the World Cup squad because I rate him that highly. But I think he just has to run a game to his form back.
Well, Malcolm nailed it. I mean, he's rusty. He's not played for a couple of months, and he's not a superhero. He's human. It'll take him a match or two to get match sharp again. And I think Maresca played him for 15 minutes against Leeds. He got half an hour, maybe 60 minutes against you guys. He's not playing tomorrow night. He's not gone with the squad to Italy, so hopefully he'll start against Everton. But yeah, we just got to be a bit patient. I mean, the interesting thing is in the period that he's been out, I mean, we've not been brilliant all the time, but we seem to have coped fairly well without him. I mean, there was a time when last season when we were all saying it's Cole Palmer FC, and without him we're stuffed because he was scoring all the goals. But we seem to have coped all right without him. Now it's Caicedo FC instead, I think. So, at least they begin with C. I suppose that's something.
Richie, Everton fan. Evening, Everton. Can Moyes do a miracle and get us in European places? Who knows? Why not? Why not, though? Jamie, will be good to have Adams back in the midfield for the United game. Absolutely. I think we missed the fight and aggression in that midfield against Chelsea. Up to 6th, Moyes bringing quality players. Diblin, hopefully Barry can get scoring more. Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, this is a Bournemouth show. We're talking about the Chelsea game. Ethan, what did you think about Tab being on the pitch with still no apology for his behaviour?
Come on.
It is what it is. I mean, he's made a mistake. But yeah, it is what it is. But I think I'm more interested in his performances at the minute.
Am I allowed to say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
The only thing I'll say, because I mean, obviously I watched the Everton game. It was one thing having to go at players, but when they need support, you have to get behind them and not abuse them.
Yeah.
And that's all I'll say.
There's an argument on both sides, definitely, 100%. Okay, second half then. So from watching it again, I thought Chelsea dominated a little bit more in the second half. Garnacho, he came close. I think he headed against the post, wasn't it? Was it the post he headed against?
Yeah.
And quite a few efforts for Chelsea from outside the box. I noticed rewatching it again. Palmer, Neto, and was it Fernandez as well? Had some decent efforts from outside the box. From the Chelsea perspective, the second half, do you think you guys should have nicked it?
Well, I think to be very honest, if we had nicked it, it would have been very unfair on Bournemouth, who were easily the better side in the first half. I mean, I don't think we even had a shot on target in the first half, and we were distinctly not at it. But you're right, Matt. I mean, I've seen this movie 100 times. You know that we start off very dozily in the first half, and you're thinking, what's going on? And then the second half, clearly the manager either makes a decent sub or he gets into them a bit. Because the thing is that if they play against a side that's really, really well organised, or more to the point, you know, either defends with a low block, which you don't really do, or they're very aggressive in the press. It basically stops us from moving the ball. I mean, basically, I think the players get the fear, and they take 2 or 3 touches. They're not pinging the ball around. It's all too slow, and that's against a decent, well-organised team, i.e., nearly all of the Premier League teams, apart from Wolves. Then, you know, you're just not going to create anything. And that's what happened. And then I think he gets into them at half time and says, for God's sake, move the ball quicker, move it around, move it forward more quickly. And that's what you began to see, which is why we started creating chances. But, you know, see my point earlier on, if you don't have anybody good enough to put the ball in the back of the net, then you're still going to struggle. And that's what happened. Yeah. So, we were better in the second half. We tend to get more possession than most teams, but possession is rubbish if you don't put the ball back in the back of the net. Simple as.
Yeah, no, definitely. Malcolm, we rarely threatened Chelsea in that second half. From what I can remember, there was the dribble and the shot that forced a good save from Sanchez by Semenyo. Other than that. You know, I can't really think of anything, you know, any real attempts at the Chelsea goal. We more disappointed with that second half. Do you think, you know, we should have come out again on the front foot and finished started the second half as we finished the first half? I mean, from my perspective, when I look back at the game, you know, I think it was very, very crucial that we got a goal in that first half, really, from our perspective. But and that would have probably set us up for the second half, you know, in a much better position. But you know, what was your general thought on that second half?
I mean, once again, you know, it was quite open. Either side could have had to go and nicked it. More so Chelsea in the second half. I mean, they did have overall 61% possession. But as Chidge says, you know, possession where most of that could have been in their own half, passing it side to side, couldn't it? So it's creating chances. We didn't create as much. We couldn't maintain the pace and the energy of the first half. It's a lot to ask. I mean, Bournemouth are a very fit side. We know what Andoni does with the training, that they have to be able to produce that over 90 minutes. And with the best will in the world, I don't think any of the players can actually maintain that. Hence, several subs, mostly after an hour. But all in all, no, it was a decent watch for a 0-0. It wasn't a bad game at all, to be honest with you. And I'd have taken a point before kickoff, to be honest with you, against that starting lineup. We didn't do a prediction show. Well, I didn't anyway, with you last week. So, but I'd have taken a draw. on the back of previous results. So, yeah, the performance was there from us, which was really pleasing. Question mark about Senesi with his injury is the only negative really for me. You know, they give it a good go. I was impressed with the defence from our point of view. That they stood up to the test. Trofeo for me is having a really, really good fine start, you know, with his career at Bournemouth, left back. And Senesi was a rock for me. He was, for me, the standout player. Just a shame he had to go off injured, but, you know, that's football. But no, good luck to Chelsea. I mean, you can't really say stop the rot. I mean, what they had, the last 5 games, 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat. And now this one on the back of that. So 2 draws. I'm not sure who you got next week, but you got
Everton. Got Everton, Malcolm, at home.
Everton, interesting. And you got obviously European football this week as well.
We got Atalanta tomorrow night, and I think they're actually not a bad side. I mean, English clubs tend to do quite well against Italian sides, but I think they're quite a decent side. We've got Everton at home, we've got Newcastle away after that, and then we've got Villa at home after that. We've got you know, basically the wheels fell off last season in December. Ironically, I think if we'd have beaten Everton up there beginning of December, we'd have gone top. And then Maresca said, "Oh no, we're not going to win the title. They're not good enough." And then, funnily enough, December they had an absolute shocker, and it all kind of fell apart after that. He picked it up towards the end of the season, but it really, we just dropped like a stone. And I think a lot of us are very worried that, you know, that the same thing might happen this December, because these are all really tough fixtures. They might not look like it on paper, but Newcastle away, Everton, you know, actually Everton at home, we tend to do quite well with it. It's when we go up there, we fall over. Villa are a good side. You know, we've got City coming up as well over the New Year period. We've got you again, I think, haven't we, quite early on over Christmas?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's going to be, I think December could go a long way to deciding where we're, you know, likely to end up this season. But without trying to do what Maresca did, I'm going to do exactly what he did and say we are not and never have been title contenders this season. So there you go.
How do you see yourselves at the end of the season, or your hopes?
Well, I think, I mean, obviously, I want us to do better than we did last season, I think, to start with. I mean, it's a very weird time to be a Chelsea supporter. You know, we had nearly, you know, 15 years of 15 to 20 years of dominance in all competitions, winning. I mean, we were the most successful club in England for nearly 20 years. We won absolutely everything, and most of it twice. And then suddenly these new American owners come in, Abramovich goes, and they decided to tear it all up and start from scratch. And then go, what we're going to do now is do what nobody's ever done before, which is to go and buy kids. And we're like going, what? Are you sure? And then, of course, it all got a bit strange because, I mean, Potter was a nightmare. Pochettino was never going to work at Chelsea with his Spurs connections. Maresca comes in having been the manager of Leicester, and he nearly blew that, didn't he, coming up? Yeah. And then he wins the Conference League, which, frankly, I could have been managing the team and we'd have won that. And we get into the top 4, which was good. You know, that was minimum requirement. Well done. And then he wins this blooming World Club Cup, which none of us took seriously until it was like the quarterfinal. It was like, oh yeah, this is a great competition. This, yeah, we definitely have to win this, and we win it. So, okay, is he any good? Well, maybe he is. So it's kind of really queered the pitch a bit. But from a club point of view, from a development point of view, I think a club like Chelsea really needs to be in the Champions League financially, apart from anything else. I can't see us winning the league for several years, and that's only if this project works. For me, I love a cup competition. Give me the League Cup or the FA Cup, particularly the FA Cup. I'll be happy, you know. I'll go home happy, you know, and go deep in the Champions League. That would be nice, just to prove that we're back. Really, not much to ask, is it?
I think that's more than more than fair enough, really. For
Of course, none of that will happen, of course. But anyway, one can hope.
Just quickly, if I just have both your views on the substitutions during the game. One question that I've got, which is why did, and I forget the player's name, the number 38 for Chelsea, come on Delap ahead of Pedro? I forget the player's name.
Well, I can tell you that, Matt. I can tell you all of the answers to this one because I've thought about this. Because Delap went off injured.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's a number 9. And you is a very raw number 9. And then you've got Pedro, who is also apparently a number 9, although he's also a number 10. So everybody, including the TV coverage, they're all focusing on Pedro, saying, well, why hasn't he come on? I can tell you.
Please do.
Right? Because our manager plans out the entire game before every match. So he had decided that whatever happens, Cole Palmer is coming off on 60 minutes, and the only player who could come on and replace him would be Pedro. So when Delap got injured as a number 9, instead of bringing on Pedro, he put on Guiu. So there you go. That's what I reckon. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am.
Right. Okay.
Connections with the manager, have you?
I'm ambivalent on him, Malcolm. Really, I mean, the thing is that there's no point ever really liking or falling in love with a Chelsea manager historically because they're never really there long enough, So it's a bit pointless. Yeah. There have been managers that I have really loved at Chelsea who have got fired for absolutely. I mean, Carlo Ancelotti got fired having won the double the previous season and coming second the next year, and they fired him in the tunnel at Everton. So what's the point? What's the point of falling in love with them? They just get fired. So I'm basically ambivalent on this guy. If he wins stuff for us, great, no problem. I back him, But if he goes tomorrow, I won't shed a tear.
Yeah, we're not used to having managers randomly sacked at our club. It's not.
You don't know what you're missing, Matt. It's great fun.
Just while we're on the Chelsea subject, there's just a couple of questions coming on the chat. If we can just put them to you very quickly. This is an interesting one. What's the story with Chelsea having no sponsor on the shirts, or have they got someone in mind? What is it with the whole shirt sponsor? Because I think last season you started without a shirt sponsor, then halfway through you had a shirt sponsor. What goes on with that at Chelsea?
Well, it's quite bizarre, isn't it? Really. Basically, Clearlake, who are the money people behind the club, these Americans, they are all about, like all American owners, it's all about the money. They're greedy as hell. And they'll fleece everybody as much as they can, like us, for starters. But what they've done is that they've decided that Chelsea is this huge European elite football club, and therefore they can try and break the record for a front of shirt sponsor.
Right.
At a time when Chelsea was imploding as a football team, coming 12th in the league, blah blah blah. And funnily enough, nobody thought, no, we're not going to pay the price you're asking. No, you can sod off, basically. And then they basically brought in Infinite Athlete, who I think they own as a company, because Clearlake are a private equity company, basically. So they've got fingers in all sorts of companies' pies. So Infinite Athlete had a relationship with Chelsea already, so they got put on. And then, of course, what happens is they win the World Club Cup, and being American, they think the world champions. I mean, it is a thing. You have to win the European Cup to have been invited in. It's nice, but it's not. It's lovely to have, but it's not like winning the European Cup, for example. That's got real kudos, right? But not if you're American, because they all love being world champions, right? It's an American thing. So they okay, right? We'll ask for much more than we should probably get for a front. Of course, same thing happens. Nobody's having it, So they're going to have to drop the price. And I've also read somewhere else is that there's still a little bit of doubt about whether the club might get either a massive fine or a points deduction for kind of very dodgy transfer activity and agents under the Abramovich regime. Clearlake actually told the Premier League and UEFA about this. They kind of said, we have found in our due diligence that there's these, naughty things that were going on. but they still might get, certainly they'll get a fine, I'm sure, but they might even get a points deduction. And apparently that also might be putting off a long-term sponsor. So there you go.
Right. Oh, okay.
What they should do, of course, is put the Chelsea Foundation, our own charity, on the shirt. That
Yeah.
would be a nice thing to do, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, no, not this lot.
Couple of questions on goalkeepers for you, very quickly, if you can. Your opinion on Kepa?
or smoke hands, as we used to call him. Oh dear, poor old Kepa. I really wanted to love him, but it was very hard to. I mean, I just don't think he was good enough. And then I think the trouble with a goalkeeper, if you start having a bit of a mare at a football club, it's a really long way back. But I gather he was pretty good for you, and I think there is a good keeper there. But I always felt he was too small to be a really, really, really elite goalkeeper. So and he's now the backup at Arsenal, isn't he? I mean, I've seen the next question, but that segues nicely into your current keeper, who's an absolute unit, isn't he? And I really liked him when he played for us. I thought, hello, he's a good keeper, this kid. And then they go and sell him to you lot, and they keep Sanchez, who was for about a season unbelievably awful. I mean, honestly, one of the worst keepers I've seen at the club, and I'm old enough to remember Peter Barota, and he was drunk when he used to play for us, for God's sake. But having said that, Sanchez, to his eternal credit, has really improved. I mean, he was our man of the match on Saturday, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he in the game.
He was. Yeah,
he's looking like a good. I think it's I think what happens now in this modern Pep Guardiola infested football is that goalkeepers are supposed to play like Franz Beckenbauer, otherwise they're no good. When actually everybody's missing the point, which is they're there to stop the ball going in the net. That's their first job. And actually Sanchez is brilliant at that. And he's got 2 left feet. So if we're trying to play out from the back, he often gets caught, or his distribution can be a bit dodgy. But that's improved recently. But yeah, I kind of do miss Petrovic because I thought he was good, and I think it was a bit of a shame that we sold him to you, really. So there you go. Hope that answers the question.
Yeah, no, certainly does. And what you said there, I saw across a lot of the Chelsea socials when we purchased him that a lot of you guys wanted him at Chelsea, and I think we can see, from our perspective, we can see why you guys want to keep him, because he's been excellent for us this season. So last thing to touch on was man of the match. Obviously, Chelsea's with Sanchez. I think we're agreeing on that one. Bournemouth's man of the match, Malcolm. Your star player, who would you pick?
Messi.
Okay, cool.
Brainer.
No brainer. Just for him being rock solid at the back, which he was. And fingers crossed that injury isn't too bad, and that he's back in the lineup against United next Monday night. Just before we go though, I'd just like to have Sidge's opinion on our manager. What's your thoughts on him? What he's brought to the Premier League? I've 2-3 weeks ago, I was reading that you guys were lining a contract up for him next summer, and there's loads of rumours. But what's your opinion on him as a manager and what he brings to the Premier League?
It fascinates me. It really, really does, because I hadn't really heard of him at all before he turned up. And on a much smaller budget than we have, he finds really good players from all over the world. I mean, Semenyo, blimey. I mean, he's a hell of a player. I mean, I hope you can keep hold of him. I think he might find it hard. So he does that, and he just gets you lot playing really good football the right way, and I think he's a very, very good manager. It's interesting because there was a point earlier in the season when Maresca was stinking the place out, and a lot of talk amongst the supporters, let alone the press, was, well, who would we have? And again, it's very difficult. I mean, Chelsea in Roman's day were used to getting whoever the next best elite coach in the world was, and we used to get him. Mourinho, Ancelotti, Tuchel, these kind of people. But those days are gone. No elite manager is going to join Chelsea now because of the structure they've got in place at the club. The sporting directors have a huge amount of say in everything, including, I think, how we play. And the owner is a micromanager. You know, he wanders into the dressing room, blah blah blah, all of that. That's why Tuchel left. He thought, this is amateur hour. I'm out. Anyway, you know, so I don't think we're going to get one. And anyway, you know, they've got this idea about a way they want to play. They want to put all these young kids through. So, you know, an elite manager is going to want experienced, world-class, proven players. So that's not happening at Chelsea for a long time. So thinking about it another way, I could see Iraola doing well in the way that Chelsea's currently structured. But if I was to choose one manager that I'd want to replace Maresca, taking account of the fact that where we are as a club and how it works there now, I would go for Glasner at Palace. I think he's superb. And he's won stuff. I mean, he won the Europa League, didn't he? I don't know if I don't even know where Iraola came from before he went to Bournemouth. So forgive me if he's actually won something and da. But you know, Glasner, I like a lot. I'd like to see him at Chelsea. Better football as well. You know, not all this philosophy nonsense, which I can't stand. Hey, bloody football. You know, it's not that complicated.
Good. That's the right answer. I'm glad you went with Glasner.
Well, you know, I didn't want to upset my host, did I?
You want to bring back the Jules, Ronnie Harris, and Billy Bremner, those sort of games, mate.
Oh, I know. I tell you what, though. I mean, what I am really glad about, because it could have gone very pear-shaped for Bournemouth after Howe left, because he did such a good job there, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I don't think you're a bit like Palace. Actually, you should be there or thereabouts. You know, easily top half from now on, unless he drops a bollock. And I'm really pleased with that, because Bournemouth away, although it's one of the hardest games of the season to get a ticket for, because you've got such a low capacity, it's one of my favourite aways, because I live in Winchester, so it's like 45 minutes on the train. I love it, and there's some great pubs there. I mean, it was a pretty frustrating, miserable football for 90 minutes, but I had great fun before and after. So, long may that continue. So please stay up. I like going down there once a season.
Yeah, no, brilliant. Well, that's it. I think that brings us to the end of this edition of Cherry Slaps. Cherry Slaps will be back next week after the United game, which I would imagine it will be next Tuesday evening, as the United game is Monday night at 8:00, which is really handy. Thank you, Sky. But yes, thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you to yourself, Malcolm, as always.
My pleasure. And good luck, Chidge, for the rest of the season.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Malcolm. You too, boys. Good to see you both. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. And like Malcolm said, good luck to Chelsea for the rest of the season. And we'll see you again in, I think, early January, isn't it?
No, December.
No? December?
Playing Chelsea again in December, aren't we?
Yeah, 30th, Tuesday night.
Is it 30th of December?
It certainly is, Matt.
Yeah.
I thought it was early January.
No.
Oh, right. Well, we'll see you just after Christmas.
You can swap if you like, because we've got City in early January. So.
Yeah, that's right. We'll take you again and see which side turns up.
You usually turn up at Stamford Bridge. I'm more worried about that than I am City, to be honest. But there you go.
Yeah,
we shall see. Have a great Christmas anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, and you. And thanks to everybody watching, and we'll catch you again soon. Stay tuned to the channel, because there will be a Dean Court social towards the end of the week to preview the Manchester United game. But until the next time, all that's left to say is up the Cherries.
TalkSport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
I should be like you, Mel.